Yes, guys, what's going on? Adam McCullough here, full-time Devils. Hope you guys are all doing well. We are back for another MUFC Transfer Daily Live. It's Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well, whatever you've been doing with your day. Obviously, loads of talk around Manchester United. Players coming, players going. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title, we are discussing a few more potential players going today, as well as discussing the latest around LIGT, which is coming out from Spain. Obviously, Barcelona were deemed to be the favourites for that signing, but in the last couple of days, United have been linked with him, and we'll be discussing that a little bit as well. Although myself, personally, I'm a little bit sceptical about this one, and I think we'll be seeing him in the Barcelona colours next season. But we'll be discussing it, seeing as the stories there to be talked about. Hope you guys are good. As I said, I'll be reading out some of your comments too and getting all your thoughts on the transfer rumours that we are discussing today, which involve Juan Mata Romelu Lukaku and, of course, as I said, de Ligt as well. And I'll be answering any of your questions on any other transfers that you may have for me. Obviously, I'm not an in the know, but I'll be able to give you my opinion, whether I think someone's reliable or whether I think a transfer is going to happen based purely on my gut, which usually is the best case for things. Although, having said that, I've ruled out a few transfers which have come true in the past, and I'm hoping de Ligt is another one of those. I can see you guys in the comments. We got Vanch, Kasim, Manny, John, Bruno, Justin. Someone says, have we got James yet? Now, the story regarding Daniel James is an interesting one. Now, personally, not sure whether it's true or not, although there's a lot of smoke, and it usually means there may be a little bit of fire with this one. But the reports coming out, and Swansea confirmed it as well, that the player's father has passed away. He's withdrawn from the Wales squad, so I'm sure any potential transfer business will be put on hold, and I think it's common sense for all involved. He's a young lad. To lose his father would be a difficult time for anybody, so I'm sure he needs a lot of time and a lot of space to be able to come to terms with that if he is on the move and if he is joining Manchester United. So that's the latest on that one. Obviously, rest in peace to his father, and I hope everything's sorted out on a personal front for him, whether he comes to Manchester United or not. But let's kick off with these stories, and starting with Juan Mata. Following earlier reports that Manchester United had made an increased offer to Juan Mata in contract negotiations and seemingly were close to making a breakthrough in terms of a deal, the Mirror report that they've failed to come to an agreement which could see the player leave on a free transfer. Now, would you guys be disappointed to see Juan Mata leaving? Does he still have something to offer to the squad? Is he one of the players that we should be looking to move on? What's your thoughts on the Juan Mata situation? Now, we obviously don't know what his demands are. Usually, United like to keep players that are on that are over 30 years old on a one-year deal, but our structure and our budget and our wage structure and all that went out the window a long time ago when Sir Alex Ferguson left, and obviously his mate Ander Herrera's left because we didn't obviously see to what he wanted. We should have got him wrapped up last year. The same with Juan Mata. If we really wanted to keep him, we should have got him wrapped up earlier. And even from a business point of view, people say that Ed Woodward and Manchester United, they may not know what they're doing from a football perspective, but they're sensible in terms of a business perspective. But letting players' contracts run down is not sensible from a business perspective. One of Manchester United's biggest assets, if not our biggest asset, is our playing squad. And if we're letting their contracts run down and we're letting players leave on freeze, then that doesn't make sense from anything. We could have got Juan Mata, we could have got Ander Herrera sorted last season. If we wanted to let them go, we could have got a transfer fee for it as well. And we didn't. So we only have ourselves to blame for this one. If Juan Mata leaves, I'll be disappointed because I like the guy. I think he's a fantastic player. But in terms of a footballing perspective, what does he offer us? He offers us experience, and I think we need experienced heads around the team. But in terms of our attack and the way we want to see our attack shaping, he doesn't have the pace to play out wide. We don't play with a number 10 system. So Juan Mata is usually put in a position that he isn't familiar to. Now, if we played a number 10, I think Juan Mata would be playing there all day. Because in terms of with the ball, technically, is footballing brain. No one's on his level at Manchester United. He's absolutely fantastic. Physically, though, in terms of his physical abilities and his speed, it's not quite there. If he's looking for a big deal and maybe a 2-3 year contract, then maybe it makes sense for the club to leave. But I understand people's frustrations when we see the likes of Juan Mata, the likes of Ander Herrera leaving the club, and there's other players at the club that have signed new contracts recently that should never have been offered new contracts in the first place. So I totally understand the frustration from Manchester United fans. Although with this Juan Mata story, if he does leave, I'll be gutted because I absolutely love the guy. But from a footballing perspective, we lose a lot of leadership and experience, but I don't think much else, because the way we play and the way we want to play maybe isn't accommodating to the way Juan Mata plays and the attributes he has. But I do think he's fantastic. I love the guy, and at times he pulls off some things that are pure genius. He is a little genius. If only he was quick. If he had speed, yeah, he would have been like best player in the league at some point, because he'd have the lot then. Anyway, moving on from that. What are your thoughts on Juan Mata? What do you think about him? Do you want to see him go, stay? Andre says Mata's no longer a top player, not United level. He's good, but not for United. No more comments on Juan Mata? Let us know, guys. Now, Kian's put in a comment which says, let Lukaku go on loan to get his fitness back, and then we will bring him back. Now, if Lukaku is on the move, a loan move for a striker that should be in his peak makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, moving on to that story. Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan. Now, Sky Sports today reported this morning that Romelu Lukaku was a target for Inter Milan, and they may be lodging a bid with Manchester United soon. There's been talk about a potential player swap deal. We heard about Icardi a few weeks ago, Perisic more recently. If we're getting rid of Lukaku, I'd like to see a straight cash deal, and I still think we should be able to recoup the money we spent on him, if not close to that money, because regardless of his form for Manchester United, he's a goal scorer and he will score goals wherever he goes. He scored goals for Manchester United. And I'm kind of torn on this one. Like, Lukaku's been very frustrating over the last 12 months. I don't know why he's gone away from being that player that he was at Everton. He's not a target man. He hasn't got the technique or the control to be able to be a target man. He needs to be running in behind defences, using his strength, getting in behind players and scoring goals in and around that 18-yard box. He hasn't been doing that enough. Now, if it's because Mourinho tried to make him bulk up and tried to make him into a bit more of a target man, then that's not him. And we needed to see him return to the form that he has now. The whole Manchester United squad seems to lack fitness and lack direction towards the end of the season. So you can't just blame Romelu Lukaku. But I think a lot of it does come from our forward line. And a lot of match reviews that I did, I'd be complaining about our forward line lacking movement, lacking desire. There's times you'd come off and think, Lukaku's not been bad today. But he wouldn't be doing the things that you want from a number 9. He'd be going out wide and whipping a ball in or something. That's not what you want from a number 9 that you expect to score goals that you paid £75 million for. You want to see him causing defences problems, and he just wasn't. So if United let him go, I wouldn't be that disappointed. He's a player that I really wanted to join the club. I remember I was on BBC saying we should sign Lukaku like a year before he eventually came. And it's unfortunate that he hasn't gone to plan. If he stayed, I'd still be hopeful that we could get the striker out of him that he is. But if he leaves, I wouldn't be too disappointed if we could recoup our cash and invest it back into the team and maybe into a new striker or into a new attacker. So it's an interesting one. Now, Sky Sports do get a lot of things wrong, so I wouldn't hold out on this one. But the links come because Antonio Conte seems destined for Inter Milan. Antonio Conte wanted Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea. They signed Morata at that time. United signed Lukaku. Maybe now they could be United at Inter Milan. And Lukaku's spoken about a move to Serie A and La Liga in the past as well. So it's something that he seems open to. This one, I wait to see what happens with United spending. I don't think Lukaku would leave before we see some players coming in though. But I do think it's one that is possible. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see the player still at United next season. He's the least of our worries in terms of who we should be shipping out. Moving on from that and to the man that everybody wants this summer, LIGT. the links continue with Manchester United, and despite it seeming that the Dutchman was destined for the new camp and for Barcelona, the rumours continue that Manchester United are set to swoop in and beat the Catalan side to his signing, which gets me excited, but I'm trying to fan those flames. I'm trying to say to myself, look, Barcelona ain't going to mess this up. Maybe it's a last ditch move by Raiola and his camp to get De Ligt more money, more promises at Barcelona. I don't know. Now look, Barcelona aren't going to offer the contract maybe that Manchester United will be willing to offer him, and the signing on fees, etc, etc. But they may still offer more money, and that's what De Ligt may be after. I think from a footballing sense, he'd probably be more likely to go to Barcelona. But if they're not willing to stump up the fees and United are, and we can get him, he is someone that we could build our team around. You're thinking of a De Ligt and a Lindelof centre-half partnership. I think that would be possibly fantastic. If we can get someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, De Ligt, Lindelof. Potential there. You've then got the likes of Bailly, Twanzebe coming through, potentially challenging for those spots. Chris Smalling's always... I don't mind Chris Smalling as a backup. It's when we rely on him that is an issue. De Ligt would be a dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do think these reports coming out of Spain are maybe just to get a little bit more money out of the Barcelona side and the Barcelona directors and their board. But I hope United are there. The story said, which I was impressed with, that United were kind of made an ultimatum, had gone forward with a package that seemed promising, and have said, accept it or we're going to move on. And that's what we need to be doing. Look, if a player wants to join us, all well and good. If the opportunity is there, all well and good. But if it comes clear that they're not after it and they're not on it, we need to move on. We can't be getting involved in transfer sagas. We need to be more proactive and making things happen. Not dilly-dallying around and waiting to July and we ain't got nobody, because that's not where we want to be. Seriously, who's your preference for second captain next? Vice captain is that? I don't really care who vice captain is. In terms of my captain, be De Gea or Pogba for me. But yeah, let's see what happens there. Someone mentioned Goldin, which is an interesting one. He'd be available on a free, I think, but I don't know. I want to be signing someone that's going to be about for the future. If we signed Goldin and another, and we let go two of our lot, I'd be all for it. But if Goldin was the only centre-half signing, I'd be a little bit worried. My top 3-4 for centre-half, De Ligt would be a dream. Alderweireld, I'm still thinking about that one. You got Koulibaly, obviously, and then you got Harry Maguire. So those are the four. And I think we should be signing one of those. I mean, if we can't get De Ligt, we can't get Koulibaly because the money's too much. I'd understand spending over 100 million on Koulibaly. Probably doesn't make sense. But we should be then getting Maguire or Alderweireld. So, yeah, there's options there for Manchester United to be making the moves. We can't afford to be having a bad summer. And whatever happens this summer, guys, we will have you covered here on Full Time Devils. So make sure you guys are keeping it locked to Full Time Devils for much more. I have been Adam McCullough. This has been MUFC Transfer Daily Live. As you can see, the only confirmed outs so far have been Herrera and Valencia. Herrera still hasn't been confirmed as a PSG player, but he's said his goodbyes to Manchester United, as has Valencia. No idea whether he's going to retire or move on and find a club in South America or elsewhere. And there's no ins yet, but hopefully that will change very soon. Whatever happens, we'll have you covered here on Full Time Devils. So keep it locked to MUFC Transfer Daily Live, to Full Time Devils, and of course subscribe, like, comment, share. For now though, I'm Adam McCullough. I'm out of here. Thanks for joining us.